Ladies and gentlemen, there is one gift more powerful than wealth, more precious than position, and more liberating than freedom itself: the right to speak our truth. Freedom of speech is not just about words. It is about the courage to raise your voice when silence becomes an injustice. We live in a world where voices are often muted, not because people cannot speak, but because they fear judgment, rejection, or consequences. But remember this: a voice suppressed is a dream denied. Every change that has ever transformed societies started with someone who dared to speak. Sometimes trembling, sometimes alone, but always brave. Freedom of speech is not permission to hurt. It is the responsibility to heal, to inspire, to challenge what is wrong, and to build what is right. Your voice is not just yours, it carries the power to represent those who cannot speak for themselves. So I urge you today, speak with kindness, speak with courage, speak with conviction, because freedom of speech is not just a right, it is a responsibility, and above all, it is a light that guides us towards justice, equality, and humanity. When we talk about freedom of speech, many people imagine it simply as the ability to say what we want. But it is far more profound than that. Words are not just sounds. They are reflections of our deepest thoughts, emotions, and truths. They have the power to comfort or to confront, to build or to break. And that is why freedom of speech is not merely about opening our mouths. It is about daring to reveal what our hearts carry, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it is unpopular. The real essence of free expression lies in courage. Courage to challenge traditions that no longer serve humanity, courage to ask questions that others are too afraid to raise. Courage to stand tall when your truth shakes the ground beneath you. History has shown us time and again that change makers were not always the loudest, but they were always the bravest. They spoke when silence was safer, and that courage gave meaning to their words. Yet, courage in speech is not only about raising your voice against injustice. It is also about being honest in your everyday life. It is about admitting your mistakes, standing up for your beliefs, and expressing your feelings without shame. Because the truth is, when we hide our voices, we also hide parts of ourselves. And freedom of speech begins first with being free within, to express your authentic self without fear. Silence is often seen as peace, but in reality, silence in the face of injustice is a silent approval of what is wrong. When we remain quiet, the cycle of unfairness continues unchecked, and those who suffer remain unheard. The world doesn't always change because of great power or wealth. It changes because someone dares to speak when everyone else is too afraid. Voices have always been the starting point of revolutions, reforms, and social awakenings. It was a voice that demanded equality, a voice that demanded education, a voice that said no to oppression. These voices did not wait for permission. They simply believed that the world could not afford their silence any longer. Every great movement has been born from the courage of a few who refuse to stay silent. Your words may seem small, but never underestimate their impact. A single statement of truth can break centuries of chains. A single honest question can open the eyes of generations. Transformation doesn't always require a crowd. It requires a voice that refuses to be drowned in silence. And perhaps your voice is the one that can spark the change. Words are like medicine. They can heal wounds, but they can also deepen them if used carelessly. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom to insult, belittle, or destroy. True freedom lies in responsibility. The responsibility to use our words for building bridges, not burning them. A society where people speak recklessly is as dangerous as one where people are silenced. When we choose our words with kindness, we give courage to the broken-hearted, hope to the hopeless, and strength to the weak. A gentle voice can calm storms, while a harsh one can ignite fires. Our responsibility is to remember that every person we speak to carries battles we cannot see, and our words can either ease their burdens or add to them. Greatness in speech is not measured by volume, but by value. It is not about how loudly we speak, but how deeply our words touch lives. The true test of freedom of speech is not whether you can speak, but whether your words bring light where there was once darkness. Not everyone has the strength, courage, or platform to speak out. Many are silenced by fear, poverty, or oppression. But when you raise your voice, you are not speaking only for yourself. You are becoming the voice of countless others who cannot be heard. Freedom of speech is not just personal, it is collective. Every time you speak up against discrimination, you are protecting those who have no shield. Every time you demand fairness, you are giving hope to those who have lost it. Every time you stand for truth, you remind others that justice is still possible. Your voice becomes more than sound. It becomes a shield, a sword, and a source of light. Think about it. A single voice, when raised for the weak, multiplies in strength. It creates waves that travel far beyond what you can see. To speak for yourself is powerful. To speak for others is revolutionary. That is the true legacy of freedom of speech. We often celebrate freedom of speech as a personal right, but forget that with every right comes responsibility. If we use this freedom selfishly, without care for its consequences, it becomes destructive. But if we use it wisely, it becomes one of the greatest tools for unity, justice, and progress. Every society grows stronger when its people speak responsibly. Imagine a world where words are used to uplift rather than divide, to educate rather than mislead, to bring people together rather than tear them apart. That is the world freedom of speech is meant to create, a world where truth and respect coexist. So, let us understand that every time we exercise this right, we are shaping the future. Our words plant seeds. Some grow into flowers, others into thorns. The choice is ours to use our speech as a gift for humanity or as a weapon against it.